Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today's episode, I'm really excited about today's episode. And I'm going to give you guys a little backstory of the moment that I got. It's like an aha download. It's like an aha moment that came after a download. I think you guys know the show, like, you know the show, Loretta, Long Island Medium, right?
I don't, is it that, no, I don't actually.
It's the lady from Long Island who's a medium, and she has this really big hair. She's known for her big hair.
Blonde?
Yeah, very blonde.
I think I might have seen her, but I've never watched the show.
Oh my God, I love the show. And like, also, if you feel like crying, definitely watch the show. But it's like you hear a lot of people's stories of like how they lost somebody they loved, and they'll get a reading from her. So you get the backstory of the, information they received from the reading. And it's like, it's really nice. I like to listen to it sometimes to gain some perspective if I'm having like a down week or something. And I definitely was having a down week this week. So I was watching Long Island Medium, and I had watched 2 episodes in a row. So when I got to episode 2, I'm like, why do we all keep signing up for coming? What is this? Are we stupid? And I was like, why? It's like so much tragedy and things are so difficult, especially now. Like, why would a soul goes, ooh, brilliant idea. Let me go down to that paradise called Earth and have a great expanding experience. And I was thinking that, like, my Lucia mind was going through that like looping through that thought process. Like, what was my soul thinking when she decided to come here? Like, what is this? And all of a sudden, like, it was like a really quick, like, seeing really quickly, like, the process of the soul it's almost like it was, I didn't see how it's created, but I saw it like when it was a baby soul, for example, if you want to call it baby soul, it's the best way to explain it, when it's like a new soul, and how it literally is like, it's like it were a baby. Like, it can't understand things. Like, you couldn't grab a brand new creation of a soul and put it into a human body because it just wouldn't stick and it wouldn't work. And it's like trying to make a baby be an adult and go to work and use knives and cut food and feed itself. That can't work. It would never function. And so inside of the download, it's like I got all that information. I was like, oh, like, this is literally the only way for our souls to grow. It's literally the only way. Like, if the soul were to stay, never incarnate and stay on the other side, the process of it, I will get like graduation, but like the process of it expanding its consciousness, understanding things, would take centuries. Mm-hmm. So this process of incarnation, whether it be Earth, and it could be another planet, but whether it be Earth or another planet, we literally begin, and this now I understand why we begin with their souls inside of crystals and rocks and minerals, right? And the ground and soil. And now I get it, because I always thought to myself, if that's true, that's so boring. What does the soul learn from that? And it literally is learning, because it doesn't know anything. It doesn't understand what anything feels like yet. And then it's put into, for example, a rock, and it feels what it's like to be a rock for a while. And then it moves on to a plant. And then it moves on to a more innocent animal. And then the more, in my library, the way that they see it, they show it to me and I see it, is like the more advanced animals are like horses, cats, dogs. Like, those are the 3 that
Elephants.
are like...
They feel really advanced to me, emotionally at least.
But what they're giving me is not because they're not advanced emotionally, it's because it seems like horses and cats
they
and
connect
dogs,
a lot with humans,
and they have a thought process. They began the process of thinking somehow. I've never like been in close proximity with a horse, so I don't know how that works with a horse. I don't know if you see something similar to like a cat. Like you see a cat recognizes you. You see a cat, you can call them over.
To me, it feels more like they're connecting more with the human, just everything.
Well, they're it's like they're tipping their toe. It's like you're dipping your toe in like they're dipping the toe in like the lake, and let me be in close proximity with humans so that for a few lifetimes.
That would make sense. Yeah. Okay.
So then after I can be human, because now I understand humans enough. I've expanded enough during these lifetimes. Now I can. So it's highly probable that most of us have been all three of those animals. Plus the ones before that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes we don't go that far back when we do a reading because it doesn't pertain to anything you're going through today, of course. But I truly believe that. I do.
It was like a download. I went, I get it. Like our souls literally says, in the beginning, it's not really a struggle because being like a more, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not static? What is it? You would say static?
Like not moving?
Like a rock or like, or the ground or the soil and the water. There's even like experiences you can have as water, for example. Like there's all these experiences, even air. And so those are like the first ones. And the soul doesn't suffer from that at all. Like there's no suffering from that process. So in the beginning, it makes sense because you start coming into close proximity to a place where the soul can decide to continue to incarnate, to continue to expand. But the thing I got the most out of the whole download was, in my mind, when I first began this spiritual path, I, for some reason, thought that souls knew everything. Like, I thought you die in, like, I thought, in my mind, it was, oh, you die and then your soul's like, oh, well, I know everything about the universe and everything that exists, and bam, I'm out of my body and I remember everything. And really, actually, souls don't know everything. They have to get there.
Evolutionary, yeah.
Yeah. So then the other aha moment I got was, it's really important to learn as much as you can in this lifetime because that's actually something that stays inside of the knowledge base of the soul.
Yes. Yeah. That will be incorporated into your soul, and you're bringing that with you when you move on, right?
Yeah. So when you do die, you're going to gradually, because it's not like boom, like lightning. You don't remember everything. You're going to start gradually remembering and bringing in the knowledge from all the other lifetimes. And so then you'll have knowledge of everything that you've ever lived. And so the soul, and all the expansion the soul had from those experiences, right? But at the same time, if you use this current lifetime to your advantage, you're going to say, well, now that I have this information, now that I know this, let me try to figure out the most I can while I'm here so that my soul has more information when it leaves. It's like being proactive, right?
Yeah. Well, our soul is here to learn something. It's here to bring something to light. So that's the purpose of our soul being here, and that'll be a different lesson for each of us, a different purpose. But that's the mission. So it could be very small. It could be really big. It could be connected to a lot of people, less connected to people, more connected to yourself and how you relate to yourself in this life. But to me, it feels like the lessons are so important. That's why, like in readings, it's what you talk about. It's like, this is what you're here to do. Like, trust that and understand that you need to learn a lesson through this struggle, this stuff that you're going through. It's not just happening to you. It's there for a reason. It could be really freaking hard, but you need to learn something from it. And the sooner you learn from it, the more you're going to be able to move on and just do something, like have peace, right? And not have to continue to learn that lesson time and time again.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know, for me, that was a huge aha, getting all that information and understanding that. Because you could like read it in a book, but till I didn't get, at least for me, till I didn't get it from them, I was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. I get it now. Like, I totally get it. And so the other thing also is, that also means that our souls have a particular, so let's say that, your dog, Sandy, right? Your dog tomorrow passes away. When you pass away, you'll be able to have an encounter with Sandy, but you won't, your experience back and forth as souls is going to be different than the one that you'll have with me when we're passed away, because we both have a more expanded soul already. That's why we're in human form. So you'll still be able to bond with her and meet up with her, but you won't able to have the same connection due to knowledge base. Does that make sense?
Not really, but yeah, a little bit. I'm kind of understanding. So let's say the two of us, right? Tomorrow we're not here anymore and we're on a different plane where our souls connect somehow, right? Can they recognize each other? I feel like they can. I feel like, I definitely feel that. And I think we've talked about that before. So you're saying that with a dog, for example, like in my case, my dog, we wouldn't be able to connect the same way that you and I would?
Because you wouldn't be able to... Sandy still doesn't know about how it's like to be human and how you have to have a job and how you have to work in this matrix and how this was really rough and that's really rough. Like Sandy hasn't gotten there yet. She hasn't had that experience. So the knowledge base that she has to grow off of, continue to grow off of, is not as expanded as yours, and so she can't have that conversation with you because she doesn't have it. It's
energetically, I feel like energetically, we'll be able to connect, but maybe in other ways it would be a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
it's like grabbing a toddler and trying to explain to a toddler what it's like to have where do babies come from.
Yeah,
like you have to use specific words to explain it. You can't really just go, okay, this is not the toddler's gonna be like, what? Right? So think about that. And so this is the same thing. You're trying to grab a soul that's still in a more limiting form. You're trying to explain to it these really, really profound, really difficult parts of being human. It's not going to be able to grasp it till Sandy's not going to be able to grasp it till she goes through it herself. And then you can meet up and talk about that. I'm saying talk, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
It's not really talking. It's more connecting.
But then you're also a big important part of the process of her expansion. And that's where the big connection comes. Because she gives you a support that you also need, but you're also giving her care and a roof and food, and she's taken care of, and she's able to live her lessons and go through this whole process that she needs to go through so she can continue. So you're her, in this lifetime, you're her portal to possibly get to a human life sooner rather than later.
Of course, yeah. I definitely feel that.
So the connection is there because they're like our soul children in a way. We're helping them learn. Mm-hmm. We also interesting. Okay. This is like, I've never heard this before. Okay, this is what they're giving me. They're giving me an example that it's like the masters to us. The masters have already done all this stuff that we're doing, and they know much more than us because they've been able to assist other humans. They've gone to the next step. They're assisting humans now. But they also know, a lot of them work with other beings, other different kinds of beings. And so they know all that stuff that we might not know half of it yet. And so they can only feed us the information that we're able to understand, that we can go, oh yeah, I went through that, I understand that, or oh yeah, that totally makes sense to me. And so it's the same thing, the masters towards us, and then us towards the animals, right? But also, you can eventually, this is what they're giving me, you can eventually finish this incarnation system, and then you can turn into a master, and then when Sandy turns into a human form, incarnated, you can actually decide to be your master and help her continue her growth system. You know what I mean? Like, that happens sometimes. It's not like the most common process form, but it actually happens sometimes. And I think it's really interesting to see, like, how you can see that you were I'm going to say, it sounds really bad to say it this way, but it's like, oh yeah, Sandy was my dog and I was Sandy's owner, and now Sandy is Sam in human form, and I'm I no longer incarnate because I'm done with that process, and I'm Sam's master or guide, for example.
Yeah, that makes sense. And as we're speaking, Sandy's barking. It's like she's knows
confirming.
We're talking about her.
She's
Jesus
confirming
Christ.
it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that does make sense. Oh my gosh, she's still barking. Sorry, guys. That does definitely make sense. Yeah. It's crazy that you got that download, though. Wow.
But I get it, because it's like, it's really hard to explain, guys, because I received it in forms of like really flash images, like, and it's like one after the other. It was, I don't know, it was like super quick. And I saw the energy of just beginning of the soul, and how much it has to grow still and understand. And now I understand why you would
Yeah.
never be able to mix that with the body from the beginning.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
So this all, I mean, obviously you just channeled some stuff, but this all kind of came about because you were watching that episode with that lady.
Yeah, and so I was seeing a lot of people struggle in the episode and how people were very upset and crying and they lost a loved one. And, you know, there was an episode, one of them, where the person that passed away had committed suicide. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why do we do this? Why do we sign up for this? We don't have to sign up for this. Literally, we're supposedly we decided to sign up for this. And so it was like, boom, like the download came, and then like I had that aha moment from after receiving the download, and I was like, I understand it's the faster route to the growth process of the soul. It's the faster route. And the soul actually is a very proactive energy. The soul wants to do things. The soul wants to expand. It wants to understand. It wants to help.
It wants to help. It wants to make mistakes so that it can learn. It wants to go through struggles. It wants all of that. That's why it chose to be here. That's why it chose all these things.
It wants to be forgiven.
Yeah. Even though we resist it with our ego and with different things, of course. That's that duality, that struggle that we have here of, you know, how do I get past this hurdle yet still learn my lessons? We have to kind of learn to live with the ego in this life. We did a whole episode on ego, of course. Because it is such a prominent thing in this life. We can't bypass it. We can learn to live with it. We can learn to control it a little bit. We can learn to, but I think it really is just like a human condition, you know? But I agree with everything you're saying. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought of any about that. I mean, I thought about reincarnation. We've talked about incarnation. But
it seems like they don't come
terms.
right away either. The flash images that I was getting was that it's like the soul begins its existence and it spends a lot of time on the other side first. Whatever you want to call it. Some people want to call it heaven. Some people want to fifth dimension. Some people, I don't know, whatever you want to call that. The soul, when it's first comes into creation, it literally just spends a lot of time there, and it's assisted by a lot of really amazing light beings. Like, that's what it looked like to me. So it reminded me a lot of, not of a caring mother, because it didn't feel like a mother energy, like this mother owns this child kind of thing. Like, that's why I say it doesn't feel like a mother energy. It feels like this being of light gets so much from assisting, and it's not one, it looked like more than one, but like this scenario was this being of light is assisting up to, it looked like three or four new energies, new souls that were just created, and it was like they literally looked like little balls of light. This being of light that was assisting it would look tall and white. In the image I was given, it looked like tall and white, like super skinny kind of tall white. So it didn't have a human form. It's just like a form of light like that. That's how they showed it. And the new souls were very yellow and very like, it was like a ball, like a big yellow, really bright yellow ball. And the energy of innocence that I like received from those little balls, and the energy of like so much love and so much care and so much attention from the other white being, that was a scenario of like it would be for human like birth, right?
Yeah. Wow.
The beginning of the soul. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And then I see them, like, they start mingling with each other more. The little balls seem to start mingling. It's like this very, very small group, very intimate in the beginning. And it's almost like they're brothers, but they're not brothers. They're just all new beings. But it feels like very brotherly, sibling, very, like, because it's like a family in a way, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of the creation with other beings that are also created. And then it starts merging into bigger groups of them. And they start learning first to interact with each other as those little balls of beings, of knowing, start recognizing that others exist. Oh, it's not just us three that exist. And mom, oh, these exist too. And then little by little, it's like they're gradually brought into different groupings, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
And that's how, it's a long process apparently. It takes a lot of time for human time, right? And then eventually it's like they absorbed enough energy and they're prepared enough to be able to make the decision because they're not forced. They're taught they're going to gain from the experience. They're shown what they're going to gain from the experience. It's like they do simulations on the other side where they like see what it would be like if they were to experience it, to the point where they're either convinced or not. They can actually, and there are quite a few, they're telling me, that have decided not to, but the majority do decide to pick an incarnation experience, and then they'll go towards that more static energy to begin the process of learning via incarnations.
That is very cool.
Super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it brings a lot of clarity, I think. Yeah, it's cool that you wanted to share this with everybody. I mean, we've done a whole incarnation, but this is a little bit different, I feel. Like, I'm not getting anything, to be honest. I'm just, getting affirmations.
Oh, that's okay. I think because we did an episode about incarnations, but it was specifically about, like, why does the soul keep coming? That was more the subject. And this case is, why does the soul begin to come?
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is a whole nother subject. Like, once you keep coming, you already know, you already started that mojo. You're just going to keep going with it, right? It's like, that cycle began. But in this case, it's why did that cycle begin? Why did that soul decide to begin that cycle? If it is so difficult here sometimes. And so that was my response, that download. And I was like,
yeah, I
get it.
I definitely feel like it's a big decision that the soul makes to come here.
I feel like I don't want to come again. I literally think that all the time, like, ooh, this is my last time. I'm not doing this again.
I doubt that, but it feels like it's a big decision the soul makes to come here. Like, it's not something it decides on a whim. Like, I'm going to sit down and really decide 100% that I'm going to do this, because you have to fully commit to it. And it can be very difficult. We all know that. We're living it.
There's a lot of, like, planning. There's a contract to sign.
A lot.
That contract needs to be decided upon with the set of spiritual teams that the soul has. There's a huge support system on the other side. The thing is, the reason why it gets difficult is because once we come here, our consciousness is trapped in this body. You don't see that support system that is your spiritual team.
Yeah, we are so supported.
You don't see them. Yeah, we are so supported, yeah. But we can't see them because humans are just blind, because we are blind, literally. We can't see them. And that's on purpose. That little ray of light that we're only able to see, that doesn't permit us to see any of that, that's on purpose. Because if we were supposed to see it, then it would be activated, right?
Yeah.
So that's what makes this experience so difficult. And because free will means that people can decide anything, and really, it's
so many outcomes.
Yeah, so many outcomes, so many life experiences that can play out. There's always probabilities that they talk about, like the most common.
You know what's coming to mind
scenario.
right now?
What?
The butterfly effect.
That was a movie, right?
Yeah, I think it was with Ashton Kutcher. How, like, just changing one little thing could just throw off everything or make everything different. And I do believe that. Maybe not to that extreme, but yeah, our decisions influence things, influence people, influence how we're going to learn a lesson, if we're going to learn a lesson, how we're going to learn it, what experience we're going to take back with us. You know, how is that going to incorporate into us? And everything that we choose today is going to affect us tomorrow, either, you know, in the lesson or away from that lesson, and having us to giving us a harder time, right? I do feel like our free will is a blessing and a curse in so many ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I feel the same way. I feel like it could be something. It's something that the soul needs to have this experience and grow from it. But at the same time, it means, like, you can come here for something, and if you depend on someone else to get that lesson done, if that person decides not to from their free will, that part of the contract's out the window. You might have to try doing that again.
Yep. That's happened.
Or restructure it, for example. Yeah. Restructure it. When they say restructure it, it means that you're trying to get the same lesson in the same lifetime, but you need to replan it because you need to bring maybe someone else into the picture for that plan. So it's like restructuring it is what they're saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and it's so crazy how we depend on like other people sometimes with our plans. So there's so many things that are attached to it.
It's really crazy. But also, that's why groups of souls are so important. Because you wouldn't be able to get these lessons without your soul group.
Oh, yeah, of course. You wouldn't, you can't just, I don't see a lot of people coming here and doing things on their own. Like maybe some parts of it, but a lot of it is attached to other people. So. And
if they're doing something on their own and that's part of the contract, it might be because they were always so dependent or, too dependent upon or too dependent on other people that in this lifetime they're just here to kind of, maybe it's like a mini vacation break where this lifetime I'm just going to be.
Of course. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in readings. Like you're not here to struggle. You're not here to have a hard time. You're here to just be. Be yourself. Or be free or whatever. Yet we still get hung up with our ego, with our mind, and with all these cultural and social things that are pushed on us that we can't. That's a lesson. I think
for me, if I have to like have a perspective on life and what I think is the biggest game changer for life experiences, it's money. Money will stop you from doing something. Money will make you do something. For example, take a job you hate. Like money is this factor that defines all the decisions you make in most of your life. Am I going to leave this job? Am I going to stay at this job? Am I going to move here? Oh no, I can't afford that move. Okay, I'm going to stay here. Am I going to go here? I'm going to go there. It's all money. Everything's money. And I think that an aspect of it is a learning process, yes. But I also think an aspect of it is there's some free wills that use that to their advantage to get more for themselves. And so that's a chain effect that's going on around that links a lot of people together, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I see money as energy. At least I try to see it as energy. Although a lot of us
it's energy that's being controlled because do you remember that?
Yeah.
Episode that Christo said where like the universe has this thing to give and if you don't take it, well, it's up for grabs. If you don't take it,
someone else is going to grab it.
Yeah, well, that's if there's a hoarding of money of that energy because you can't fill Earth with all this energy. Boom, money, boom, everyone's got it. Abundance everywhere. That's not the way they're showing me it works. They're like, there's a circulation, and if there's a hoarding from some side somewhere, that limits it reaching someone else. Mm-hmm. So that's free will of someone else being used that's inconveniencing someone else, maybe on the other side of the world, who knows, but it's inconveniencing a lot of people. And so that's another thing.
But we all have access to it, so it doesn't matter.
There's an aspect of control as well.
Yeah.
You do have access to it, but you would have much easily access to it if there wasn't this aspect of control.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, there's people dying of hunger today, right?
And that shouldn't be.
That should not be.
That shouldn't be.
But that's also, I remember asking things like this when I went to get Akashic record readings like years and years ago. It's like, why are people dying of hunger? Why are things bad, quote unquote, bad things happening? They're like, this is just part of the balance. Like you have to have the good with the bad. Like you have to, but I don't know if I truly feel that sometimes. Like I do feel like there's things that we can change here and we have the free will to change and to adapt to a different way of living. Like, for example, doing away with hunger, world hunger. Does that have to exist? No, we all have the power to change that, yet we don't. We're not using our free will to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's the hoarding, because those that have the money, aka the power, to be able to actually stop world starvation, because they could actually do it with the amount of money that they have. they use it to get more money, to hoard more money. And that's how you see that chain effect that they're talking about. And I also believe that we're here to struggle as well. We're here to feel the struggle. We're here to live through it. So yeah, it's true. But know that as well, a big percentage of people did not sign up for the situation that they're in. It's the free will and the chain effect of someone's free will decision that now negatively affects you. So anything you do or decide or say, or it leaks on to other people, right?
No, I believe that. Yeah.
And so, yeah, some souls might have signed up for it, but a lot of souls probably didn't.
Yeah, we are really connected to each other more than we think sometimes. It's insane. And how we can affect somebody, even with our energy. Like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
You know, someone can walk in a room, have like the lowest vibrational energy, and you're all of a sudden feeling it. It's not going to ruin your day. Maybe it could. I don't know. But does not make you feel good. And that affects you. But they might have not said anything to you.
Yeah, no, you just feel it. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like her vibe, or, you know, his vibe is awful, or whatever, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, I was just going to say that reminds me of the video of a guy that gets on a train and everyone's super serious and he just starts laughing really hard. I love that video. Everyone ends up laughing.
Such a good video, and it just shows how everything we do can be perceived. From us laughing to us being sad to us just being low vibrational and just being in a bad mood. Yeah. And how we also have free will to pull ourselves out of that and perceive a situation in a different way, right? And not feel burdened by something. Which is hard to think about this week, because this week I feel has been really weird. And we've talking about this on the Patreon. We just recorded for Patreon. How just like, well, Lucia had a fall. She fell. And
I fell on my back on a corner of the stairs, and it was really bad, and I've been in pain for like a week.
Cut your nail with a razor. Yeah.
And I'm sick.
Yeah, and you're sick. And for me, it's just been more energetic, just feeling so low and down on myself, and just like not enough, and just feeling like, ugh, I don't know. Like I just want to snap out of it, but I can't. Like I haven't been to the gym in days. I'm going to try to go to the gym today to kind of just move some energy. But it's just one of those weeks, you know? It just feels, ugh.
I was
hard.
feeling really good. Like I was moving energy every day, and now my back, like I literally can do nothing. Like even walking hurts. I can barely do anything. So now I'm feeling like I'm getting a lot of stuck energy. I'm like, oh no, I was doing so good. But yeah, it is what it is.
We need to give ourselves a break. I think we all do. I feel that about myself, at least. Just, we're so hard on ourselves sometimes, right? Like, why did I fall? Why did this happen? Like, why am I such an idiot? It's like, just not helping anything, you know?
Oh my God, I felt like a complete idiot when I fell.
Exactly.
I slipped on my socks on a wood floor. Like I slipped.
I mean, they are very slippery. I was there. I saw those floors.
It's not just me, right? Because
no, it's not
I'm
just
the
you.
only one that's falling.
Yeah.
Sander's not falling.
Well, if he falls, you're in trouble because he's pretty tall.
And he's probably much heavier than I am because he's much taller. And yeah, if I had to get him up, I wouldn't be able to because he had helped me off the floor.
Jeez, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, you always think things could be worse.
Oh my God. Literally what I thought was, if this fell would have happened and I was like 70, 80, I would have totally broken a hip.
Mm-hmm. You need to get those sticky socks, the ones that have like the traction on them.
I know. Since then, I've been walking barefoot.
Yeah,
my feet are cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my feet are cold, but like I prefer to have cold feet than fall again.
Yeah. No, yeah. For sure. All right. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I hope that people enjoyed that download because I was like, what? I get it finally, amazing. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. That's the first thing I thought was like, yes, I mean, I messaged you the same day and I was like, dude, I got this download. We got to do an episode about it.
So good.
And nothing, just whatever else I get, I'll continue to share, of course, as usual. And just a reminder that we both continue to read Akashic Records for people, and we do dual readings. And we have our courses on our Akashic Records course on Udemy and on Thinkific.
And our Zoom course is on April 17th and 18th. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure that you DM us or send us information. We already have a bunch of people signed up, and we're really excited to meet all of you and to start channeling together and learning to read the Akashic Records. I think it's such a great time right now to do this. And any information you want about the course, feel free to just DM us or message us. We'll put all the information on the show notes. And we hope to see you guys in the course. Obviously, it's a little bit different than the online ones because we're actually there on the call with you on Zoom, as opposed to the other two courses that Lou mentioned, which are videos, and you can just do them at your own pace and time. This is definitely more hands-on, and we're able to explain more. The manual itself as well is way more complete as well on our Zoom course. We made it a little bit more extensive, and we go through so many different aspects of the process of connecting to your Akashic Records. So if any of you are interested, please hurry and sign up, because it's coming soon. And we are only doing this, I think, 2 times this year. So we're in the process of trying to channel level 2, which is opening other people's Akashic Records. So we hope to have that for this year. But we need to put a lot of time and effort into that and really put a lot of intention. So we're trying not to overwhelm ourselves with too many courses this year. So we, as always, want to thank you for tuning in and listening to the podcast. It means so much to us. If you feel called to leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app, feel free to do so. We would really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week with a new episode. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.